WCBI News at 10 starts now.
Thank you for joining us tonight on this Sunday. We begin tonight with some devastating news out of Montgomery County. A deadly wreck takes the life of a 17-year-old. Montgomery County Coroner Alan Pratt says the victim is a Winona Christian School senior. The coroner says 17-year-old Robert Campbell III was traveling southbound when the crash happened just 5 miles south of Winona on Highway 407. It happened around 3:50 this morning. Pratt says the jaws of life were used to extract the student. MHP Troop D is handling the investigation. Troop D is also working another fatal wreck out of Montgomery County that also happened earlier today. That crash leaves the Tupelo High School basketball player in the hospital recovering and his mother dead. Tupelo High School basketball coach Jeff Norwood tells WCBI 17-year-old Taj Crump and his mother Erica Walls were returning from visiting Millsaps College when the crash happened. Montgomery County Coroner Alan Pratt says the wreck took place in Kilmichael in the eastbound lane around 9:30 this morning. The coroner says they were traveling in a Ford Explorer when it overturned multiple times. The jaws of life were used to extract the 40-year-old mother from the vehicle. Coach Norwood says Crump underwent surgery and is expected to have a successful recovery. The high school senior suffered injuries to his lungs and a fracture to his left elbow. A fire broke out at a downtown Eupora business Saturday night. Eupora Fire Chief Mitch Jackson says bright ideas and second chances caught on fire around 9:20 Saturday night. The Eupora Fire Department, along with the Waldorf Volunteer Fire Department, responded to the scene. This video was taken and sent to us as nearly 40 firefighters battled flames into the hours of early Sunday morning. Jackson says the blaze started in between the thrift store's roof and attic area. Firefighters were able to keep the fire from spreading as they worked to put it out. The chief says they believe it was an electrical fire, but it still remains under investigation. The building suffered moderate fire and water damage, and luckily there were no injuries. Well, it's been a wet and kind of chilly Sunday outside. It's now time for a first look at weather with meteorologist Amanda Reynolds. Amanda, how's it going outside?
Well, it's doing all right. Right now here in Columbus, 53 degrees with that southeasterly wind around 6 miles per hour. Now, as we go forward through the rest of tonight, temperatures are actually not going to drop very much, if at all. We'll see temperatures climbing up continuing to climb through the overnight hours into the low 60s by the time we get to the morning hours. So again, we might see some clearing and those winds will continue to pick up. But again, tomorrow will be much warmer into the upper 70s with a mix of clouds and maybe a touch of sunshine as well. I'll have more on your forecast coming up in just a few minutes.
Thanks, Amanda. In Florida yesterday, mourners walked hand in hand to pay their final respects. 3 more victims of the Stoneman Douglas shooting were laid to rest. This, as we learned, the FBI wasn't the only agency to let alleged shooter Nicholas Cruz slip through the cracks. Here's Emmanuel Bojores.
I just feel so heartbroken over what these poor parents have to go through. It's just so tragic.
As people gathered outside Stoneman Douglas High School to leave flowers and pray, newly obtained documents reveal even more potential red flags about accused gunman Nicholas Cruz. The Florida Department of Children and Families visited his home a year and a half before the shooting, after Cruz was on Snapchat cutting both of his arms. The investigator did not recommend further action, though she noted Cruz suffered from depression and ADHD and stated he wanted to go out and buy a gun. It is unknown what he is buying the gun for. The FBI announced this week it did not follow through on a tip last month about Cruz and guns. President Trump tweeted, "Very sad that the FBI missed all of the many signals sent out by the Florida school shooter. This is not acceptable."
I don't know that the signs were missed. There were multiple reports and contacts, our agency included.
On a local TV program, Broward County Sheriff Scott Israel once again pushed for laws that would grant police more powers to detain those who make threats online.
Over the coming weeks, we're going to find that law enforcement contacted, either went to the home or went to where the killer was, and they were handcuffed with what they could do. The laws, this isn't science fiction. We're not allowed to arrest on what a person thinks about, on pre-crimes.
In Parkland, the funerals continue. including Scott Beagles, the geography teacher students say died trying to block them from the shooter. The families of 14-year-old Jamie Gutenberg and Alexander Schachter also planned funerals for Sunday. Officials say the school will not reopen until at least Thursday. Manuel Bojorquez, CBS News, Parkland, Florida.
When we come back, we take a look at the local family whose catchy song is making its big way on the internet. More when we come back.
You're watching WCBI News at 10 with Jory Talley.
Welcome back, everyone. A singing family from Pontotoc has gone viral on Facebook. Our Riley Livingston went to Pontotoc to catch up with the musically talented family. Riley?
We brought you their video earlier this week of them singing in their car, and since then, it's garnered hundreds of views.
I was shocked.
Mom Nicole Judon has posted a few videos of her family singing in the car before, but none of those have reached as many people as this one.
I didn't expect it to go viral. We have put maybe like 3 others on there, and they didn't, go as far as this one.
The family was heading home after church one day when middle son Ja'Kylan Judon saw something that sparked the idea for the video.
We passed like about 3 police, like they was just sitting there on the side of the road, and then I just said buckle up, and then it just went on from there.
Buckle Up led to older brother Marty Judon joining in and dropping the beat.
He started singing, and I just added like music and beats and some more words to it.
The Judon family was destined to have a passion for music. Jameson, the father, says singing has always been a part of his and his wife's life.
We come from a singing background, growing up. As kids, our family both had singing groups.
The family makes the videos with one goal in mind: to put smiles on people's faces.
Just having fun, giving people laughs.
Reporting from Pontotoc, I'm Riley Livingston, WCBI News.
The Judon family intends to keep posting their sing-along songs.
Well, we don't have any severe weather nearby on the horizon, but we want to make sure you're aware that this week is WCBI Severe Weather Awareness Week. We'll have videos all week long telling you all about ways to stay prepared for different severe weather, but I'll have more on your forecast coming up right after the break.
First Alert Forecast with meteorologist Amanda Reynolds.
Well, we kept the clouds around through this afternoon as well as a few showers, and tonight is no exception. We keep the clouds through the overnight and through the day tomorrow as well. We're continuing to warm up, 54 degrees with that southeasterly wind in 2 below. Now that southeasterly wind going to help us warm up pretty significantly through the overnight hours. Notice all of that those southerly winds. Notice the temperatures in the 60s further to the south, so that warm air going to continue to push north through the overnight hours. We'll continue to warm up around 56 degrees tonight. Again, we may see a few of those clouds clear out, but we'll still stay mostly cloudy. Those winds will continue to pick up as well, and tomorrow going to be a very balmy 76 degrees. Again, we keep the chance for some afternoon scattered showers, but we're going to be significantly warmer with those southerly winds, 10 to 15 miles per hour. Now, that big warm up continues not only through the day tomorrow, but into Tuesday and Wednesday as well. And with that, we'll actually have the chance for some low-end rain showers both tomorrow and Tuesday. But by the time we get to Wednesday and Thursday, we're actually going to see a pretty significant rainfall with another system that's going to push through. But I mentioned the record warmth. We could actually break a few records. Any of these yellow numbers are, if these forecast highs verify, those would be records that would be broken in Columbus, Starkville, and Tupelo. So something to keep an eye on. Both the record highs and the record lows. We'll see record warm lows overnight. But rain chances relatively high for Wednesday and Thursday, but other than that, just some low-end rain chances. We're in a pretty moist pattern at this point, and so we can't rule out any of those afternoon showers or storms for the next few days. But Wednesday and Thursday, definitely going to see that next batch of moisture associated with this cold front, and as that pushes off to the east, we'll actually see a good bit of rain. Futurecast picking up on up to an inch, but before that, again, relatively light rain showers, not going to really accumulate too much over the next 48 hours. But notice by the time we get to Thursday morning, we could see over an inch, maybe even 2 of rain across much of the WCBI viewing area. So something to keep in mind, as we've already seen a good amount of rainfall over the last few weeks. So again, we're going to keep the chance for rain showers around for the next 7 days. But what we'll also keep around is the significant warmth. Will be in the upper 70s for the next several days, and even Thursday going to be cooler, but still going to remain around that 70-degree mark.
Come on, spring weather. I've got spring fever.
It almost feels like spring. The average temperatures for early May would be about this. So.
Wow, okay. Flip-flop season, here we come.
Yeah, exactly. Well, kind of on a different note, we have a new segment here on WCBI. It will air every Sunday. It's called WCBI WeatherWorks. We'll talk about different aspects of weather in addition to other science stories. So something a little bit fun to spice up our Sunday newscast. So without any further ado, here's our first WCBI WeatherWorks episode. You may have noticed the symbols in our logo. They are symbols that you might find on a station model. Today we'll talk a little bit about what a station model is and what the symbols mean. Station models are a compact way of displaying lots of weather information for a specific location. Generally, you will see a map of station models, such as this one for the U.S. Every station has a few key aspects. They are temperature, dew point, pressure, cloud cover, and wind speed and direction. We'll talk more about station models another week, but some station models also show a weather symbol, such as this one. But what do these symbols mean? Well, let's start with the two in our logo. The first, found in place of the R in weather, is the symbol for thunderstorm. This is shown when a station reports lightning. The second symbol, found in place of the S in works, is the symbol for a sandstorm or dust storm. Now that we have those covered, what are some other common weather symbols? Well, both rain and snow have a three-tiered system that indicate light, moderate, or heavy precipitation. For rain, the symbols are circles, but for snow, they are small snowflakes. There is one other commonly used symbol, fog. Generally, it consists of two parallel lines, but a third may be added for very dense fog. There are many other symbols for different weather phenomena, including freezing rain, sleet, haze, a funnel cloud, and even smoke. With this week's WCBI WeatherWorks, I'm meteorologist Amanda Reynolds.
The Bulldogs stand alone at the top of the SEC. More from historic night in Starkville, next in sports.
CBI Sports with Tom Ebel.
Last week, with a win over Vanderbilt, Hail State Hoops clinched a share of its first SEC regular season championship. But on Sunday, the Bulldogs had no interest in sharing. With a win over Texas A&M, the Dogs would stand alone in the record books. To the hump we go for some hoops. Mississippi State one win away from their first ever outright SEC title in women's basketball, facing 17th ranked A&M. And the Bulldogs got off to about as Mississippi State start as it can get. Morgan Williams off the steal, just going to blow right past the defense. Got to stop ball, A&M. They don't. Morgan takes advantage. Bulldogs on fire to start, showing off those fresh pink jerseys for the Think Pink night. Rashonda Johnson absolutely on fire in the first half, drains the triple. Bulldogs start the game on an 11-0 run. And after that, let's keep it rolling with the Queen. Victoria Vivian's red hot in the first half, getting the friendly bounce to go from the corner. She'll take that. Tori had another one. Bold strategy, leaving Vivian's wide open from the perimeter. That didn't seem to work. And Vivian's had not one, not two, not three, but four first half triples. State led A&M by 11 at the break. And second half we go. Morgan Williams goes back to work. 2 of her 12 points, gets right to the cup for 2. Mississippi State up 19 after 3 quarters. And in the fourth, to finish it off, give it to Blair Schaefer. This is her home spot. The corner triple. You just can't leave her open like that. And with that, Hail State Hoops becomes the first women's program to claim an outright SEC championship as the Bulldogs defeat Texas A&M 76-55. Our Robbie Donahoe was in the midst of the celebration and the streamers and has more from a historic night inside the hump.
After losing to South Carolina 3 times in title-winning positions a season ago, Vic Schaefer mentioned that he looked forward to the day when his team would be the one celebrating under the confetti and streamers. Sunday was that day.
Sometimes you have to go through some really hard times, really disappointing times. And I've been really disappointed at times for my kids and my staff. I know how hard they work, and it just wasn't our time. And sometimes the good Lord puts you through those times to get you ready for something bigger and better. And today was bigger and better, my friend. Couldn't be happier for our players. Again, I know how hard they work. I know the blood, sweat, and tears that they've poured into this, and as well as my staff. That's the things that I'm thinking about when that happens, is finally our kids aren't in a locker room and we're not listening to somebody scream on the floor. It's us.
You know, it's always get thrown in our face, but it's not ours, so it's just finally ours, so we just try to enjoy the moment. Me and the seniors will talk about it, like, dang, we came here and we doing something like this. Like, we'd be like surprised at times, but then again, we trusted in our coach and we believed in what he said, so he got it done.
And how appropriate it was for Mississippi State. When the fans were chanting SEC on the verge of celebrating a title, Morgan Williams drove to the basket and scored. Unfazed by the celebration late in the game. The SEC championship is groundbreaking, the first in women's hoops history, but it's only one part of the ultimate goal.
We finished today one game at a time. We end up, getting the SEC, but we still got games left, so I'm just worried one game at a time and everything else take care of itself.
I think we can enjoy the moment, but our overall goal is not finished, so we can't enjoy it too much. We got to get back to practice and do what we do best and keep working because we're not finished.
Goal number 1 is complete. Goal number 2 comes in March at the SEC tournament in Nashville. And the ultimate goal is a little over a month away in Columbus, Ohio. 1 down, 2 to go. Reporting in Starkville, Robbie Donahoe, WCBI Sports.
Just 6 days ago, Ole Miss head basketball coach Andy Kennedy announced he will be stepping down at the end of the season. After the loss to Mississippi State Saturday, Kennedy won't wait another day. After 12 seasons, Ole Miss announces that Kennedy will step down immediately as head coach of the Rebels. Assistant coach Tony Madlock will serve as head coach for the final 4 games of the season. Kennedy finishes at Ole Miss as the first head coach to have a winning record in SEC play since World War II. For a full statement from Kennedy and athletic director Ross Bjork, go to our website, WCBI.com. The Bulldogs try to keep the brooms in the closet. Highlights from Hattiesburg, next in sports. Welcome back, and thanks for staying up with us here on WCBI. Mississippi State pulled off an almost improbable comeback against Southern Miss in last year's regional final in Hattiesburg. The way the Golden Eagles have played the past 2 days makes you think the opening series was circled on their calendar. To the Hub City, former Southern Miss coach Hill Dennison throwing out the first pitch as the Golden Eagles went for the sweep of the Bulldogs. Bottom of the second, no score. Southern Miss would strike first. Gabe Montenegro up the middle. A run would score on the infield single. It would be 1-0 Southern Miss. They would lead 2-0 after 2 innings. Top 3, Mississippi State gets back in the game without swinging the bat. The Bulldogs drew 3 walks and were hit by 2 pitches, and all that helped lead to their first 2 runs of the game. Hey, can't complain. No infield singles, nothing. Just getting back in the game with no swings of the bat. But bottom 5, former Bulldog Luke Reynolds at the plate. 2 runners on with 2 outs. Sends a shot to right center. Matt Wallner and Mason Irby score on the play. Reynolds, meanwhile, there you go. The play over the plate. Reynolds would be caught between second and third, but the throw is going to be airmailed past second base, and Reynolds would come around to score. That would be 5 runs for Southern Miss, and that's all they would need. The offense would be done. Golden Eagles go on to win 5-2 to complete the sweep. First time the Bulldogs start the season 0-3 since 1996. Will Golson and Ole Miss look to bring home a sweep during its opening weekend series against Winthrop. James MacArthur in his first appearance dealing back-to-back Ks. MacArthur would fan 7 in 6 innings of work. But it'd be the Eagles to strike first. Only mistake on the day for MacArthur. A grounder right up the middle to him, but he airmails the throw over third base. That would score a run for Winthrop, but the Rebels would tie it back up, and we would head to the 7th inning tied up. And eventually the Rebels would take advantage. Greg Kessinger is going to deliver here to short. The shortstop can't make the play. That would score a run. That'd be Tim Elko scores. And here comes Jacob Adams turning on the Jets. Play at the plate. He'd be ruled safe. It looks out, but let's take one more look at it. Right there. Gets his hand right in before the tag. Rebels would take the lead 3-1. and Dallas Woolfolk comes in to close the game, and you know how this ends. Strikes out 2, and he would force one more pop-up. This was Woolfolk's first appearance on the season. He would help close the deal for the Rebels. Rebels get the win and the sweep, top a talented Winthrop team 3-1 in Game 3. Softball is back at MUW. The Owls hosting Huntington. 5th inning we go, tied 1-1. Heidi Matthews lays down a suicide squeeze. Loads the bags for the Owls, and MUW would take advantage. After a wild pitch tacks on a run, East Webster grad Kendall Wilkinson lines to first. Anna Lloyd would score, and Matthews is going to test the plate as well, and she's safe. Be the start of a big inning for MUW in Game 1. Brianna Duquette adds onto it with a liner up the gap. 2 more runs would score for MUW. It would be a 5-run inning for the Owls. And on the mound in the 6th, Madison Scoggin. Look at her. Set this one out. Look at it. Leaves the batter looking. That's the way you strike out and end a game. MUW dominates Game 1, 9-1. And running it back, Game 2, Steen's native Kara Hopper on the mound for MUW. Hopper would get some run support early on. Kristen Martin with a laser beam through the gap gets runners into scoring position. And Kendall Wilkinson would deliver. She's going to launch one to right center field. The center fielder can't make a play on it. Anna Lloyd would score. But Wilkinson got a little greedy, tried going for 2. She'd be gunned out at second, but no matter, MUW takes the lead 1-0. Then Hopper on to try and protect that lead in the second. Back-to-back K's would keep the lead just where it is, and MUW dominates Huntington in a 2-game sweep. Run ruling in both games. Owls win 10-2. MUW starts the season 3-1. That'll do it for sports for tonight. We'll have a last year forecast coming up next.
Well, over the next 7 days, we'll keep the chance for rain, but we'll also start to warm up pretty significantly. We'll be near 80 by the time we get to Tuesday and Wednesday, so soak in the warmth while we can.
Loving the warmth. Thank y'all for joining us. Have a great week. We'll see you back here tomorrow night.